Well, a Montreal woman is heading back to Peru this morning, as Kelsey mentioned. She's there to search for her missing son. You might remember we first spoke with Alisa Clamen shortly after her son, Jesse Galganov, went missing in September. Since then, she has hired an elite search and rescue team. This will be her third trip, to Peru. She's hoping new intelligence discovered where her son was last seen is going to help her find him. And she's joining us from the Montreal airport. She's going to be boarding that flight to Peru very shortly. Good to speak to you again this morning.
Good to speak to you too, Anne-Marie. Thanks for having me.
You're heading down with new information. What have you learned?
So Magnus, through their detailed methodological searching, has been able to track Jesse right through to the end of the afternoon on the 1st. And all the searches that were done prior were before this information was known. So there was not really a focused in area. So now they've been able to track both of his movements and his pace and his state of being from speaking with all the people that had contact with him. And they've also managed to get a sense of who was there because they've spoken to people who are coming up from the other side and people who would have seen him had he been there and people who should have seen him. So they have a much better sense now of the area that has to be focused on.
Alisa, what are your plans while you're in Peru?
I have a number of meetings with officials there. I'm going to be working with the police. I'm going to be, I will be wherever I need to be. I will be covering a number of things. It's going to be as it happens. I'm going to do whatever I need to do when I'm there.
We spoke to you on your morning back in October. Your son went missing in September. We spoke with you in October. At that time, you were fighting Apple, Amazon, and T-Mobile to try and get them to relax what their restrictions are, to give you information and access to his phone. Since then, the companies have done that. They've released the information to the Peruvian police. But you still feel like local authorities there are not doing enough to help find your son. Why do you think that is?
Because, unfortunately, this is Peru. It's not Canada. It's not the same type of level of police system. They don't have the professionalism. They don't have the resources. They don't have the expertise. All of the information that the Peruvian police are working on right now come from Magnus International, the firm that I hired. All of the operations that they're doing are being directed by Magnus International. They don't have the ability. They just don't work at that level. There are people that go missing in Peru, Peruvians, and nobody ever looks for them. And they just don't do what we do, what I'm doing.
In Canada, anyway, when we hire a private security firm, they do not always work with the police. They're separate jurisdictions. Are you getting cooperation, at least from the Peruvian police, in your search?
For the most part now I am. We've got a tremendous contact who is an ex-Peruvian general, and he's been the one who has been coordinating. He's working with Magnus, and he has authority and respect of the police. And I'm actually going to have contact with a judge who has authority over this division as well. And he was able to get us into the head of the National Peruvian Police. So, it's a struggle, and it's a constant stay on top of it, push them. And another part is interrogations. So while Magnus can coordinate anything they want in terms of searches, the interrogations must be done by the local authorities. Nobody else has jurisdiction. And there are people that need to be interrogated, so this is where we're pushing. And I'm trying to get anyone in Canada who has the governmental relationship, like I've spoken with the ambassador, and I'm using anyone who I have contact with in Peru to push those actions and get those orders issued.
Alisa, you're doing what any mom in your position would want to do. You are asking everybody, fighting as hard as you can. You've spent over $1 million in this search. It's been 8 months since you last heard from your son. How are you doing?
It's been 7 months, I guess almost 8 months. I don't really think about how I'm doing. I'm doing what I have to do. I'm being realistic at this point. I have to just be prepared for anything. The most important thing for me is bringing him home. And when you say I've spent over $1 million, I want to recognize everybody who has donated and who continues to donate, because without those people, I would simply not be able to do this. I just want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. The Missing Children's Fund donations, Pina Arcamoni is doing an amazing job of coordinating that, and my GoFundMe page, all of that money is going to fund this. So thank you so much.
We're going to let you board your flight.
Sorry.
That's all right. We're going to let you board your flight, and we wish you the best of luck. Thanks, Alisa.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.